Hey gang, welcome back to the Trading Coach Podcast. Today, we're going to talk about a few aspects of trading that aren't really thought about when it comes to your decision making on what type of trader you want to be, but probably should be. Now, before we kick off, I want to say a big thank you for all of you guys who have supported the Trading Coach Podcast this past year. Do me a favor, it is Spotify Wrapped season. That's when they're doing all the cool thing that shows how much you listen to and all your stuff. If the Trading Coach Podcast has wiggled its way into your Spotify Wrapped to end the year, share it on social media, share it with me because I love seeing that stuff. I'll be sharing mine as well. Thank you in advance, and let's hop in. Are trend trades better on lower time frames or bigger time frames? Neither. One's not better than the other. Just different durations if you have to hold them. I would say this: they're probably, if we're looking at Forex market specifically, if I had to choose one, I would. It's again, one is not better than the other. But if you had, you're probably gonna have better luck on lower time frames. Because if you're expecting a trend continuation trade on higher time frames, it's going to be very, very long between. So like if you're trading on a daily, you may not get a trend trade in a couple years. And I'm not even lying when I say that. Because you have to wait for an established trend to happen, and you have to wait for a pullback, and you have to wait for your opportunity. Like it's literally, I've had traders that have back tested and said, Akil, I've gone 2 years on the euro dollar without getting a trend trade. Is that normal? I'm like, yeah. We've been in consolidation for 2 years. On a lower time frame, there's going to be a lot more frequency, and you're going to get a lot more trendy moves that you can catch smaller trends that exist within different periods of higher time frames. So I don't want to say one is better than the other as far as like lower time frames are bad and higher time frames are good, or vice versa. But as far as like a realistic opportunities, you're going to have more opportunities on the lower time frames than you would on the higher time frames. So let's phrase it that way. I just don't like using the word better because I don't want it to seem like, in general, there's no time frame that is better or worse than another one. How would you pick a trading time frame? Would it be something you do if you're available time to trade? Yes. I just answered this question for someone yesterday on the chat who I think started their back testing before they asked the question, what is it better to trade head and shoulders on? What time frame? And I'm like, again, I hate these questions. But because one's not better than the other. But your trading should be worked around your life. The first question you need to ask yourself is, A, what type of trader do I want to be? Do I want to be a day trader? Do I want to sit in front of a lower time frame for a set amount of time and look for opportunities? Or do I want to be a higher time frame trader where I come in, I do some analysis, I go off, live my life, and come back whenever my alerts go off? So it's one, what do you want to do as far as your lifestyle choices? But two, what can you do, right? If you don't have the ability, so like if you're going to be a day trader, you probably need to put aside at least 2 hours a day to actively look at the markets. I would say anything under 2 hours, it's probably not worth your time, right? At least 2 hours a day to actively look at the markets. If you don't have time in your schedule, or if you don't want to make time in your schedule to actively look at the markets, like without distraction for 2 hours a day, you're probably not going to be able to be a day trader. So look at your schedule first. What are your activities? What are your jobs? What are your restrictions? And you may find out like, man, I want to be a day trader, but unless I'm waking up 5 o'clock in the morning, I can't do it. So then you're automatically going to be a swing trader. And then maybe you have some traders where we had a truck driver that I worked with who wanted to be an intraday trader, but he was on the road. He's like, I can't consistently look at the markets because I'm driving across the country. So we talked to him. We're like, hey, like you probably need to trade off the daily chart. Your frequency is going to be lower. There's not going to be as many opportunities, but all you need to do is look at the charts once a day. He's like, I can do that, and look for your signal. And that's something that worked around his lifestyle. Now I think he ended up day trading. He would do it like 2 days a week, something like that, just to kind of scratch that itch. But yeah, so you always want to look at your life. I say write down your life, write down your schedule, and see where trading fits into that. Because the cool thing about trading is that trading is so flexible. It's especially Forex trading in a 24-hour market. This is one of the reasons that Jason and myself chose Forex. It's a 24-hour market. Like it is super flexible. You don't have to sacrifice your life to trade. You can fit trading into those spots in your life, and that's the super cool part about it. Lifestyle, personal preference, and again, you may not have personal preference yet. That may be something that changes. I never wanted to day trade. And then I started teaching, and I was on the charts anyway doing live rooms. I'm like, okay, well, I might as well become a day trader, make some money while I'm here, kill two birds with one stone. And then I actually fell in love with day trading. Then as I got older, I wanted the freedom back. Because the problem with day trading, as Andy mentioned earlier, I was a trend continuation trader, right? So my day trading hours were supposed to be from 7 to 10. But if I'm in a big trend continuation trade, guess what, Ann? And I do active trade management, right? Like we spoke about yesterday, lock in targets. Guess what I need to do? I need to stay in front of that chart, right? If I'm in an active trade and it's going in my direction and I need to roll stops in order to protect my profit, can I leave at 10 o'clock and just let it go on a 5-minute chart? Hell no, right? So I had some really, and it wasn't all the time, but frequently I'd have some really big trades. I'd have some really, I'm not bragging, I'm bragging a little bit, but I'd have some really big trades. But what it required me to do is be in front of my chart at 11 o'clock, at 12 o'clock, at 1 o'clock, at 2 o'clock, at 3 o'clock, right? Because I have two choices. Some day traders cash out when their day trading day is done no matter what. I didn't like that approach because I saw that as leaving money on the table. If I had something where I expected a profit of 100 pips, I wanted my 100 pips. But it took being a slave to my charts. It took me needing to cancel plans because you never know when these things are going to come. If I have something set up on a Thursday at 3, I'm assuming I'm out of the market. But if that trade comes at Thursday at 3, I got to call people and be like, hey, like I know we're supposed to have lunch, but I can't do it. Well, why not? I got a trade on. What does that mean? I don't worry about it. And I didn't like that, especially as my kids got older and we have stuff like school fairs and recitals and community service stuff. Like I had a moment with myself where I thought it was during COVID when we were spending a lot of time at home. And that's when it really hit. Spent a lot of time at home with my kids at COVID. So we had all these activities planned, like going to the park. And you promise kids stuff like, hey, we're gonna go bike riding at 3 o'clock, and they're like, Dad, they got their helmet on, coming to the door. I'm like, no, I can't do it. Maybe at 4. And kids don't understand, so they're sitting there heartbroken, staring at the door, like, why can't Daddy play? And that stuff hurts. And then I had a kind of a face to face with myself, and I'm like, well, Akil, like, why did you get into trading in the first place? And I'm like, well, freedom. I wanted complete freedom. I wanted the ability to do what I want when I wanted to do it. And I said, well, are you, again, I'm talking to myself in the mirror. I'm like, well, are you achieving that? And I'm like, well, no, because I have to be here. I don't want to be here. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy the trade is going in my direction. Don't get me wrong. I love money, right? But I don't want to be here looking at my chart and putting my life on pause. And it was kind of an aha moment of you forgot your main goal. Now, again, this is to put things in perspective. This was after, obviously, this is 2020, so I'm already successful at this point. The earlier stages of me, I used to invest 18 hours a day in my trading because I was hungry. I needed to grind that much. I had nothing better to do. I had no family, no responsibilities. I don't need to do that right now. So now I value other things. I will gladly sacrifice money for time. So it's I don't know how we got all deep and personal like that, but yeah, those are the things you got to think about. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. If you're interested in learning how to trade, check out our website, www.tier1trading.com. It is a trading education resource mentioned in Forbes magazine as being one of the innovators in the space. Jason Greystone, myself, and a great community of traders work with you on a daily basis, holding your hand through the process of becoming a consistently profitable trader. So we don't just throw you some courses and leave you alone. We're here to work with you, and that's the reason we've had such good results. www.tier1trading.com. Check it out, and I'll see you guys next time.